welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I wanted to come in and say hi to everybody. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I wanted to come in and talk about this term Black jobs. I heard Donald Trump mention Black jobs the other day during the debate, and I've seen a lot of reactions to that term. I didn't know exactly what he meant by Black jobs. I thought it was kind of a strange way to describe an economic situation. And I thought that as a person who studied finance for a while, that I would jump in on this discussion. In case you don't know my background, my doctorate's in finance. I taught at Syracuse University for 13 years on the finance faculty. So money and economic issues in the Black community is my number one concern. Now, before I get started, though, could you guys give me a quick yes in the chat if you can hear me? Let me know really quickly if you can hear me. Give me a quick yes. Shout out the city you're from. Just let me know that I'm coming through okay. I'm in a hotel, and the hotel Wi-Fi is usually pretty crappy. And I'm also being a dance dad this weekend, so it's kind of kept me from being able to connect with you guys the way that I want to. I know that you guys know every single morning we do Money in the Morning, where we teach the art of economic elevation. And it's a free class for anybody, and there are thousands of you have signed up. And I want thousands more of you to just know that there is a finance professor out here that's willing to talk to you every single day, that wants you to be the best you can be economically. So when Trump uses the term Black jobs, y'all know I'm on the job. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and provide some perspective. So I want to say hi really quickly to Yoshika, and I see Coach Bettis. Good to see you, brother. It makes you think about Jerome Bettis, the great football player. Keith Patillo from the Patillo family. I know the Patillo family, and let me tell you, that is Black excellence just in progress, in motion. I love when I see families that are on top of their game. So what's up? And also, what's up, Rodney from St. Louis, and Gino? Good to see everybody. Heather Elliott from Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to see you. All right, so let me hop in. How many of you, give me a yes or no if you saw Trump's debate? How many of you watched the debate the other day where Trump and Biden went up there, and it kind of became just, kind of a shit show, kind of what you expect. You got a couple of pretty immature guys up there. One guy looks a little bit too old to be president. The other guy is a little too arrogant to be president. I think Trump could be a textbook narcissist. I believe that's why he got along so well with Kanye West. I've told you all about the time Kanye called me, and we talked for about 10 hours over a 4-day period. And I was trying to sort of get through to him, and it was very, very difficult because he kind of lives in his own little world. And it became so frustrating that my wife just said, I don't know if this is good for you, your stress levels. And I tell you, it's not fun. It's not fun to talk to people who just are out of touch. And I'm gonna tell you, Donald Trump is not. I've never thought of him as a good person. He's not if you believe he's unethical, then you're probably right. Anybody who's been in the boxing industry, hung out with Russian gangsters and done business with people like Don King and Al Sharpton his whole career, you know that there's something going on there, something that's not on the up and up. But I want to say this clearly though too. I don't blame you for whoever you want to vote for. I want to make that clear too, because I have big issues with Biden. If you remember, Biden incarcerated more Black men than any president in American history, other than the ones during slavery. I don't even know if there were slave presidents that sent more Black men to prison than Biden did. He called y'all super predators. This man, there are men and women in prison right now, people in prison right now today that were locked up in the 90s under Biden's 3 strikes laws. And y'all want to walk around here tap dancing, acting like it's okay. No, it ain't okay. I don't get that. I don't get the low self-esteem or the fear where we have so much fear that we'll just let people just scare us into voting for whoever. I don't do that. That's just not what I believe in. But you could do what you want to do. If you want to pick the lesser of two evils, I'm not going to knock you for that. I'm just not a fan of that. But anyway, guys, so I don't have a ton of time. My wife and I are going to be leaving pretty soon, but I wanted to kind of talk about this whole Black jobs thing. All right. So let's kind of break this down real quick. When I heard the term, I didn't think much of it at the time, but then I saw the internet kind of reacted to it. And as you know, Black unemployment has been a trigger topic, an important discussion talking point for many, many years. During the Obama administration, Black unemployment was something that was discussed almost every single week. At that time, I was talking a lot about Black unemployment also, because if you recall, Obama said something back a long time ago about the rising tide will lift all boats, which is basically kind of like this false integrationist narrative that says that if we help everybody, if we help white people, then that's going to naturally help black people too. And the Democratic Party's kind of run with that. I think Obama set the precedent for them to say, hey, we're doing these things for all these other people. And given that black people fit in these categories with these other people, they're going to be helped too. Like, so when Biden brought up black economics, he said, we're passing laws to help mothers with childcare costs. And there are many black mothers. Therefore, black people are benefiting from what we did for mothers. And that's a lazy way to address the racial wealth gap. That is a racist way to address the racial wealth gap. And let me explain why. What you're basically doing is you're saying, hey, we're not going to do anything specific to help the black community. We're going to do things for everybody and then talk about how black people benefit too, right? Like, it's not like somebody giving you a ride. If I say I need a ride to a specific location, and then I say, well, we're going out west anyway, so why don't you pick a different location and we'll give you a ride there? Like I'm not gonna give you a ride specifically because you need a ride or specifically to the place you want to go. I'm going to just take you where I was already gonna go and then take credit for giving you a ride in addition to everybody else. That's very different from me saying, I'm going to specifically give you a ride to specifically go where you want to go. And this is what black people are dealing with. You specifically were targeted for an unbelievable amount of racism for 200 and something years. More than that, actually, 400 years. You were specifically targeted because of the color of your skin. They specifically robbed you of your economics. They specifically enslaved you. They weren't enslaving single moms. They weren't enslaving gay people. They were enslaving black people. We know these things. So they were specifically targeting you for all this racial abuse you've experienced. So you should be given a specific remedy. And the Democrats want to avoid the specific remedies. And that's the problem that you have on the Democrat side. Now, because I've got, I hope my wife will let me have 10 minutes to do this conversation, because I want to dig into this black jobs thing a little bit. And as I move on, do me a favor. Could you please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And just as an FYI, I have a new book out. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. Simple rules that if any family follows these rules, they will have a massive amount of generational wealth in less than 10 to 20 years. So if you want to take a look at that book, just feel free to go to drboycebooks.com. And also, my wife is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And she also has workbooks on things like financial anxiety and dealing with financial trauma and ways that you can overcome. These are called solutions. I know we're not used to solutions, but that's what we talk about in the Black Business School. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com. All right. So here's the deal. So Trump uses this term black jobs. And everyone kind of, gets in a tizzy about it. And again, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. And I thought about this term. I said, what does that mean? What the hell is a black job? I don't know what that means. I felt the way a lot of people felt. I had to meditate on it. I'd sit back and literally look into the universe and talk to God and say, what the hell? What's a black job? Is it a job that is black? Is it a job that's just for black people? Is it a job that's occupied by a black person? And so I thought about it. And so here are my interpretations of the term black jobs. First off, a term's definition can change based on who's actually saying it. That's the first thing. It's based on perspective. As you guys know, when you come to financial consciousness training every morning, I talk to you all about perspective and also just kind of being able to empathize and see the world from different points of view. Okay. And so here's the deal. The term black jobs does not mean the same to everybody. The definition changes based on who's saying it. It also changes based on the perspective of the individual who is saying it. So let me break that down further. So it's almost like the N word, right? Like I hear a lot of people explaining that when a black person says the N word, it's different from when a white person says the N word. But when a white person says the N word, that might be different from when a white racist white person says the N word. And even when a black person says the N word, that's different from an angry black person saying the N word. Let me know if you're following this. Right? If I say, what's up, my igga? That's different from me saying, get out of my face, igga. Right? That's two different. The same guy, same race, it just means different things. If a white guy says it, you got the wiggers, the white guys who think they're black. If they say the N word, they're trying to be cool. They're trying to fit in. They're quoting words from their favorite rap songs. But if a hillbilly from the South says the word igger, if they say it, then you know that might mean that they're really trying to say something negative about black people. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about, because I'm from the South, so I kind of hear them country accents. So if you hear a racist person, if you hear a country music singer use the word, it's gonna have a different interpretation. You know what I mean? Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all let me know if you get what I'm saying right there about that. Okay. All right. So let's get back to it. Okay. So black jobs, and I'm saying this as an economist who cares deeply about black jobs. It means different things from different people based on different interpretations, different situations. Okay. So when Donald Trump says black jobs, I can't tell you exactly what that means. I cannot go into that man's mind. What I am going to guess is that there are a couple ways to look at it. The worst interpretation of the term black jobs could be this. It could be that, there are certain jobs in society that are typically occupied by black people that most other people do not take. Right, just like there might be immigrant jobs or rich white people jobs. Right, if you think about the job, if someone is wealthy and white and they say, "My son got an internship this summer," okay, this is a rich white people job. So that's going to be maybe they're working at Goldman Sachs, or they're doing something with some exclusive bank and working with wealthy clients or whatever. Right. Whereas when I was in high school, the type of jobs I had were like restaurant jobs, and also on top of that, the black men did not get the nice jobs like the white girls. The white girls would get to work out front. They would get to work the cash register and all that stuff. They didn't trust me with the money. They had me in the back washing dishes. That was my version of my black job. So there is a belief that there are certain jobs that black people tend to acquire or tend to be allowed to take that other people don't take. And you guys know, if you've been following this platform for even 30 seconds, you'll know that I've explained that part of the reason that you get locked into so-called black jobs is because you fell for this fairy tale of a myth called integration. You fell for this false belief that by selling your black-owned businesses, giving up all of your banks, giving up your insurance companies, giving up your institutions, giving up black-owned schools, giving up black-owned bus companies, whatever the case may be, you believe that by giving up all your businesses and going to work for institutions owned by your oppressor, that somehow that would lead you to have a better life. Tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm lying. All these Negroes sitting there complaining about how racist the NFL is, or how the NBA hired a white boy to coach the Lakers when there are qualified black men like Sam Cassell who could have taken the job. They're in the same tradition of the poor people who forget that we used to own the Negro leagues. We used to have a professional sports league. We used to own all of that. But when you don't own the house, you don't get to pick the color of the bedroom. When it ain't your house, you don't make the rules in another man's house. That is a simple rule of the universe that we forgot because somehow they socially engineered us to be a pack of punks. They socially engineered us to be weak and scared and submissive, and I'm not part of that clique. So in this society, if you want to know, are there black jobs versus white jobs? Hell yeah, there are. Because you burned down your own house so you could become roommates with massa. That's what you did. When you got all caught up in the whole civil rights, we shall overcome. And we celebrated the idea of a black man getting his head bashed in so that he could just have the privilege of spending his money at a white-owned business. What the hell is it? We didn't define it for what it was. We didn't call it for what it was. A mental illness. It is an absolute mental illness when I'm going to let another man beat me to within an inch of my life just so I can have an opportunity to give him my money. That ain't customer service, people. That's not customer service. So what I'm saying to you is that in this economy, you're right. There are black jobs. There are jobs that that black people tend to get that white people that white people don't want. If I go to Google and if I'm a black man and I want to go to Google and become an engineer, they're like, no, sorry, sir. They're not gonna say it. They're just gonna show you this. So they're gonna say, no, sir, that's not a black job. But if you came in and you want to rap at our annual Christmas party, oh, that's a black job. I bet you if you go to Google and you have a meeting of all their senior engineers, I bet you there might only be one black guy in the room. Out of 300, there'll be one black guy and a bunch of white people and Asians and Indians. Tell me if I am lying. Tell me if I'm lying. So senior engineer at Google, unfortunately, is not typically a black job. That's just the reality. But rapper, basketball player, stripper, those could be black jobs. You look at hip hop, you look at what they did to hip hop, how they got now the most popular female hip hop artists in the world, Lotto, Megan Thee Stallion, the other one, I can't remember all of them, but Ice Spice, whoever, they're all pretty much strippers. They're just strippers who know how to rap. So basically, that's a black job. Taylor Swift ain't twerking when she goes. Taylor Swift can make $1 billion without shaking her ass one time. Not at least not in a way that's overly sexual. She doesn't have to do all that. She just gets to sing. That's a white privilege. She's got a white job. Megan Thee Stallion has a black job. If Taylor Swift tried to do what Megan Thee Stallion does, not only could she not do it, but she would not be accepted. If Megan Thee Stallion decided she wanted to be the next Taylor Swift, they would say, no, Negro, sorry, that's not a black job. So there are in a racist society, which America is, in so-called fake in the space of false integration, you have black jobs and you do have white jobs. That's the reality. Now, whether or not Trump was referring to this when he spoke, I have no idea. I can't get in that man's head. He's a little weird. I don't know what he's thinking. But that's what I hear when I hear the term black jobs. Now, let's move on to another interpretation. Before I do that, if you could, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And I want to remind you guys, if you want to join us for our morning, we do Money in the Morning financial consciousness training. It's a class that's 100% free. It's 7 days a week. Every morning, it's at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you want to join us for free, text the word morning to the number 87948. Just text morning to 87948. Or you can also go to drboyceelevate.com if you live in another country. I could not make it this morning, guys. I apologize. My daughter is in the big dance. She's at the Dance Nationals. And on Saturday, they do the big showdown. And so she had 2 dance routines this morning. One of them was precisely at the time of our class. So that's why I had to send you guys a text to let you guys know I couldn't make it. But y'all know that if on any other day, I'm going to be right there with you. Because I think that economic elevation is critical for us to understand how we're being screwed economically. Economic elevation is critical for us to understand why white people have all the wealth and we don't. Economic elevation is critical for us to understand why black wealth continues to go down as white wealth is going up. Think about it. You work harder than everybody else. A lot of y'all are going to school. A lot of y'all are doing all the right things. You're going to work. You're not breaking the law. You're doing everything right, but yet your wealth is going down. How in the hell is that happening? How's that happening? Well, I'm going to dare jump in and say, I'm going to put on my finance professor hat and say that it's happening because our economic consciousness is not very high. They are literally they're pickpocketing you. Like when I was in Paris one time, these little white girls came up to me, 3 of them, and they were talking to me about this petition. And they were trying to get me to look at this petition. They were like, we're trying to do a petition for the blah, 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 blah. And as the girl's talking to me, and she's telling me about this petition, another lady comes up, and another lady's like, she starts yelling and screaming in French. She's like, I don't know, I don't know if I failed French class, but it's like, avec moi, ce soir. Maybe that wasn't what she was saying, but she was yelling at the other girls. I did not understand why she was yelling at them. She was screaming and hollering, and the girls started yelling back, and it became like this big old fight. It was like French white women fighting around me, and I was just standing there, right? So let me tell you what was going on. So the lady then explained to me why she was yelling. She said, while they had your attention, they were pickpocketing you. I said, they were? I said, they can't do that to me. Dude, I'm from the hood. What you talking about? You ain't no white woman gonna pickpocket me. Not me, right? And so literally that's what was going on. So there's a point to this, I promise you. So here's the point. Sometimes there are people who want to extract things from you who will distract you. They will steal your consciousness. They will get you to be conscious of one thing and be unconscious about another thing. And all the while, they'll be pickpocketing you. So my argument, and I hope that you'll hear this, let me know if you're getting what I'm saying, is that Black wealth is being pickpocketed from our people, from our community, because our economic consciousness is not where it needs to be. So when somebody says the term Black jobs, and all we can do is sit there and get mad because we don't understand what a Black job is, or we think it's racist to say Black jobs, I really think that you want to go deeper than that. That's my point. I really think you want to go deeper than just, oh man, because they said Black jobs. Because seriously, if you're caught up in the Democrat Republican nonsense, that means that if you're a Democrat, you're only mad about the term Black jobs because Trump said it. You wouldn't be mad if Biden had said it, because Lord knows Biden was mumbling a whole bunch of other shit up there because that man is too old to be president, and you know it. Right. And if Biden had said Black jobs, the Democrats wouldn't be mad. And the Republicans would be the ones saying, oh, see, they're racist. They said the term Black jobs. Right. So get away from the Democrat Republican stuff, because that's all silly. So let me kind of give you another interpretation of the term Black jobs. So that first interpretation could be that there are certain jobs that are for Black people and other jobs that are not for people who are not Black. Like I mentioned, like me being a dishwasher, when I worked at the Hungry Pelican restaurant when I was 14 years old, that was a Black job. That was the kind of job the Black guys got. I didn't get to be a host to greet the customers. I didn't get to run the cash register because that was not a Black job. Another interpretation of the Black job term could be jobs that are just possessed by Black people. So if I say Black jobs, and my goal is not to be racist toward my own people, that will make me a weirdo. If I say the term Black jobs, what I would be referring to is all the jobs in our society that are controlled by Black people right now. So being a bus driver could be a Black job if a Black man has that job. Being a surgeon could be a Black job if a Black woman has that job. Being a nurse could be a Black job if a Black man has that job. Being a hostess at a restaurant can be a Black job, right? So any job owned or possessed by a Black person, because you don't own your job, by the way, your boss owns your job. Let's make sure you're clear about that. You're renting your job, or you're renting yourself to the job, however you want to look at it, but that's not yours, right? So when you die at your desk because they worked you into an early grave, they're going to replace you within a week and forget that you were ever there. So just make sure you understand that you don't own the job. You can't pass the job to your children. The best thing you can do for your children is put in a good word for the child and hopefully get the boss to draft your child, just like Bronny James got drafted by the Lakers because their father had put in years of good service for the company. All right. So whereas the owner of the Lakers doesn't have to ask anybody's permission if he wants to draft his son, when the owner of the Lakers drafted his children to come and work for the organization, he didn't have to ask for shit. He didn't have to go ask for anybody's permission. He didn't have to hope that the boss decided that he did a good enough job, that he's going to put in a good word for him and he's going to give him an opportunity. No, the owner of the Lakers, Jerry Buss, I believe that was his name. The owner of the Lakers, when he wanted to hire his children, he said, I'm hiring my children, right? So this is why, if you want to know why I'm a big advocate for Black-owned businesses, because I need you to know the difference between having a good business and having a good job. A lot of us will put a ton of energy into getting a good job and keeping a good job, but we won't put the same amount of energy into starting a good business and building a good business and keeping a good business, because that requires too much work. That's the reality. That's what you're dealing with. So when you talk about Black jobs, to me, a Black job is a job that is controlled by a Black person. Now, the immigration point, I think, is worth hearing. Dr. Claude Anderson, the author of Powernomics, the greatest economic thinker of the 20th century and beyond. He's the Black Marcus Garvey of today, or he's the new Marcus Garvey. Marcus was Black too, but he's the modern day Marcus Garvey. He says repeatedly in his books, and he wrote this in the early 90s, he said that immigration policy has been specifically designed to dilute the economic and political power of the Black community. That there was a time where your numbers were bigger, your economic share of the pie was bigger, your opportunities were bigger, and that is deliberately being undermined because they're bringing so many people in from other countries. And the other thing about immigration policy, and if you come to our Powernomics training, which we do for free in the Black Business School every Wednesday night, you would know that immigration policy was specifically designed based on skin color. So what they said, look, if you are immigrating from England, we'll take as many British folks as you want to bring. If you're immigrating from Spain, we'll take a ton of those. If you're coming in even from Mexico and South America, we'll take a ton of those. But if you're coming from Africa, Wait, what? Nah, we don't want no Africans. Y'all need to stay over there, right? So it's because they said we don't need more black people, we need fewer black people. We don't need the Kool-Aid to be stronger. We need to water it down. You understand? They said we need we need the black community to be smaller, not bigger, because we're already afraid of these people. They're already doing major damage just by having 13% of the population. We don't want them to have 30% like they used to, because that's downright scary. So Dr. Claude Anderson has brought up the point that many of the black jobs, there go, I'm going to use that term. Call me what you want for saying the term black jobs, but you don't know what I'm talking about. Jobs that are controlled by black people. He specifically said that these jobs, these opportunities are getting scooped up by people from other countries because they really don't want to deal with you that much. They really don't. If you don't believe me, let me ask y'all a question. Give me a yes or no if you've ever seen this. Has anybody ever gone into like certain restaurants and noticed that damn near half the damn staff is speaking Spanish? If you go to places like California and other places, you'll know what I'm talking about. Has anybody ever noticed in your neighborhoods, like I see this in Chicago, construction sites where 40 years ago there would have been a bunch of black guys working on the construction project, but there are no black men over there. There are no black people over there. Has anybody noticed that? I know I see it. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. So when you talk about that immigration issue, and you tell me somehow that having an endless flood of people from other countries coming into the U.S. is good for the black community, I'll tell you a damn lie. Y'all should know in Chicago right now, shout out to the black folks in Chicago. Black people in Chicago have been protesting the black mayor like crazy. They have been saying, you are bringing all these people in, giving them resources you never gave us. We've been begging for resources and we can't get a nickel, but you're going to pump millions of dollars into people who just got here. And then you're putting them in our neighborhoods. They're taking up space in our community and getting stuff that we've never got. So that to me is a point worth considering. I don't care who says it. I wish Biden and Trump would say it. But perhaps the reason Trump is gaining leeway in the black community is because he is talking about it. I don't know if he's going to do anything about it, though. I don't know if I don't really think he's going to be an asset to the community. I think that if you want real power, you're going to have to fight for it. If you want real power, you're going to have to plan for it. If you want real power, you're going to have to build for it. If you don't build for it, fight for it, and plan for it, then you will not have it. No politician is going to give that to you. No Democrat's going to deliver that for you. No Republican is going to deliver that for you. Even the independent candidates ain't really going to deliver that for you. You have to deliver that for you. So this is my position. So when you talk about the term black jobs, I would say there's two major ways to look at that. There are jobs that typically black people have more access to in our society. It's a racist society. So there are certain jobs that they don't want you to have. There's certain places they don't want you necessarily being the boss. This is why black-owned businesses are so important, because in my company, every job is a black job. In my organization, I have the ability to engage in whatever amount of nepotism or whatever you want to call it that I want, and I don't have to ask my boss's permission. I don't make as much money as LeBron James, but if I want my child to play on the same team as me, I don't have to go ask Jerry Buss if it's okay for me to do right by my child. I don't have to do that. And so to me, I think that one thing that's missing from our community that we have to really consider is pride. Pride is deeper than money. You can have $0 in your pocket and have $1 billion worth of pride. Pride might mean that you say, you know what, even if I can't build $1 billion company like you, I'm going to build my little $50,000 company and I'm going to make plans to grow it into $1 billion within a generation or two. Your pride means that even if you tell me that the only options I have on this earth are Democrat or Republican, that I can either be treated like a slave or be treated like a super slave, I'm not taking either one of those options because I'm too proud to allow you to get me to live on my knees. Pride means that we embrace the things that we need to embrace in order to build the community that we want. It means that we embrace the educational excellence necessary and the skills appropriate for the building of a community, so that when somebody defines what is a black job and what is a white job, It won't be me hoping that white people agree with me in my interpretation of what a black job should be. That my child will not have to just say, well, mama, I can't get a certain kind of job because, the white man ain't hiring and the white man won't decide that he want to give me an opportunity. See, your children need to be taught to create opportunities. What makes their kids better than your kids? What makes their people better than your people? It's attitude. It is belief in yourself. It is your commitment to developing infrastructure that's going to allow you to be able to shape the narrative that you want your life to have. I get deeply offended by this whole idea that everything that we want to do got to come down to whether or not we can convince white folks that it's the right move to make. I don't want to go. I get, there's a whole industry of these anti-racist speakers that literally all they do is, I'm not making fun of you. If you're in this category, please don't think I'm making fun of you. Keep doing your job. I hope you make $1 billion at it. But one thing they do is they do a job. This is a black job. Here you go. Here's a black job for you. Their black job is to go to all these white universities and talk to crowds full of white people and convince white people to stop being so mean to black people. That's their job. That's a black job. White people can rarely get that job. But then again, if they do take the job, they tend to get treated like superstars. Like they got Tim, what's his face? I forgot his name, Tim something. And he goes around and he talks about how terrible white people are and how black people are always perfect and whatever. And they love him for it. Well, that's not a black job I want. My job as a black man is not to convince a white man to like me. My job as a black man is not to convince white people that I'm worthy. My job as a black man is not to convince white folks that I am safe and decent. I know I'm safe and decent. My wife and daughters and my son, they know I'm safe and decent. Y'all know I'm safe and decent. My job is not to go and convince people who have been oppressing me or trying to oppress my people for a very long time. My job is not to convince my oppressor of anything. And one of the things that I think you have to understand is that you will box yourself into a trap if you believe that the only way for black people to have advancement in this society is to convince white people to allow us to have it. If you believe that the only path to liberation for black people is by getting white folks to be nicer to you, then I feel sorry for you, because you're never going to go as far as you want to go. You'll only go as far as they want you to go. And let me tell you like this, I'm not going to just go as far as they want me to go. I'm going to go as far as I decide I'm going to go. Also, I'm going to go as far as God wants me to go. So just like I spoke to you guys the other day, we talked in class and I talked about knowing the difference between your plan, God's plan, and Massa's plan. See, Massa had a plan for you. Massa said, I'm going to give you the black job. Massa said, I'm going to give you the black experience. Massa said, I'm going to give you the black culture. And then you're going to spend your whole life muddled, swimming in the mud, living in the dirt, starting from the bottom. Now you're here. Hoping and praying, stressing out, begging for opportunities, sad when they don't come, like crying and over microaggressions and mistreatment, and constantly feeling bad about life because somebody else is deciding whether you even have the right to be happy. Fuck that. Nobody has the right to decide if you're going to be happy and fulfilled. But that's Massa's plan. I'm going to keep these Negroes in a fishbowl and make sure that I decide what options they're going to have. I decide if they get to have a good day or a bad day. I decide if they're going to be successful or not successful. I decide if they're going to have high self-esteem or low self-esteem. That is nonsense. Who told you that that's the right way to live? That's Massa's plan. And then if you're strong and you have some consciousness about you, you'll say, no, I'm not living by Massa's plan. I'm going to go with my plan. My plan is I'm going to decide what a black job is versus a white job. My plan is I'm going to be successful whether you like it or not. My plan is I'm going to get educated. My plan is I'm going to take care of my family. My plan is I'm going to be economically intelligent. My plan is that I'm going to prepare for the future. My plan is I'm going to build generational wealth. And I think that's a great step forward. Congratulations to all of you who have moved past Massa's plan to get to your plan. But I'm going to take you to another level of consciousness. And I'm going to do this real quick because my wife is waiting for me and she's being very patient. I appreciate that. Shout out to the black women who are patient with crazy black men like me. Without y'all, we can't be nothing. But there's another level to that. And I learned this through time. Remember, I'm 53 years young, so I'm not a kid no more, but I ain't Joe Biden age, but I'm not a kid. So I've learned a few things. So the next level I realized is that even my plan is not adequate. My plan is not the plan. The plan is God's plan. And what I learned through life as I fought my battles with racism, and I think I did okay. Wasn't no white man gonna hold me down. Wasn't nobody gonna make me feel oppressed. I was raised by Larry Watkins. He was a Vietnam veteran and who's killed people. He did not raise me to be no punk. So I ain't scared of racist white folks. I ain't scared of ignorant black folks. Never been scared. Never scared. But here's the thing. So even as I won these battles, I found out that there was a plan that was even bigger for me. I realized that my racial trauma, my experience as a black man growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, like Muhammad Ali, we both grew up in Louisville. My experience led me to even not see what my potential was. Even I didn't know what I was capable of accomplishing. So what happened was I realized, I said, oh my God sees a bigger vision for me than I even see for myself. And so as that vision started to unfold, I started to realize that as much as I know, and I have a lot of education, I went to school a long time. To get a PhD, you got to take damn near every single class at the university. And I got my PhD over 20 something years ago, and I probably know 3 times more than I did when I finished my doctorate. So I've learned a lot. But the biggest thing I learned over time is how little I actually know. The biggest thing I learned over time was that connecting to God and really understanding what the potential was for all of us and knowing what God's plan is, or even trying to understand it or accept it as it unfolds, that's really the key to power. Because the power of God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, that's an infinite kind of power that man cannot control. Man cannot stop that. And I'm not saying this to be religious with you. I don't even go to church, to be honest with you, but I'm very spiritual. So I think that the strength of black people is that we are very spiritual people. And to me, when you allow your spirit to be deflated because you are scared of a racist, you are scared of some ignorant people that don't want to see you fly. To me, that is disconnecting from God. That is you disconnecting from what your purpose is. The greatest strength you have is that you are spiritual, and sometimes you got to operate on faith. That means, what does that mean? Let's translate that to real life. That means that you got to build that business sometimes on faith. Dude, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna learn as much as I can. If I may not succeed, but I'm gonna still go hard. Sometimes you got to move forward based on intuition. You got to say, you know what? I know you're telling me that if this guy gets elected and I don't vote for this person, that bad things are going to happen. But you know what? My instincts are telling me that this is still not the right move for me. So I'm going to still move on faith. Maybe being spiritually strong also means the ability to really try to see a vision for yourself and your family that is not limited by what is you see around you. It's not limited by your past. It's not limited by your condition. It's not limited by what people say you can and cannot do. There is no limit. When you really connect to that God level power, I don't think you can be stopped. So if you want to know who you're listening to every morning when I wake up, I would say you're probably listening to a man of God, but not so much in a way that says I'm perfect, not in a way that says I'm the guy you're going to see sitting next to you in church, but you're really talking to a man who literally every day when I get up and talk to you, I open my mouth and I say, let me see what God tells me to say. And I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to say it without fear. I'm moving forward without fear. And I think that if we move forward without fear, you won't fall for all this Democrat Republican nonsense. You won't get caught up in what a white man has to say about you. You won't feel like your whole destiny and all your potential is put in some sort of bottle that was shaped by your oppressor. You'll know that the sky is the limit for anybody who truly moves forward on faith. So that's what I believe. That's what I think. So when you talk to me about black jobs versus white jobs, there's different ways to talk about that term and what that might mean. And certainly black economics is critically important. But I just encourage you, let go of the low self-esteem, low vibrational thinking. Let go of this whole idea of us operating in fear and operating under the expectation that we're going to be oppressed. Let's move forward by expecting the best of ourselves. Again, every time you get mad because a white man tells you you got to take the black job over the white job, the question is you got to say, well, who's creating the damn jobs? Who's the job creator? I don't want to be the job seeker. I want to be the job creator. I don't want my children limited in a world where they believe, well, there's black jobs and there's white jobs. And Mr. Charlie going to decide who gets the black job and who gets the white job because he a Democrat and we the Democrats and the Republicans. I don't want my kids living in that world. I want my kids knowing that any job is a black job if they want it to be. I don't want my kids thinking like, oh gosh, I hope somebody helps give me an opportunity. I want my kids to sitting back like Jerry Buss at the Lakers saying, I wonder if I'm going to give somebody an opportunity today. So this is a mindset. This does not have to do with how much wealth you have. It does not have to do with how long you went to school. Sometimes going to school too long can limit your thinking. Sometimes having wealth can make you just into a bigger slave. LeBron James is worth damn near $1 billion. And it's unfortunate that he, as wealthy and powerful as he is, still had to ask Jerry Buss's permission for them to draft his son. And the world I dream of is a world where LeBron owns the team and he drafts his own son and ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. Because remember, Jerry Buss did not have to ask for anybody's permission to bring his children on board. Am I right or am I right? Because from what I understand, he got his whole damn family working up in that front office and he didn't have to go ask LeBron for nothing. So that's a hierarchy, people. That is, so LeBron has the black job. Jerry Buss has the white job. It's just LeBron's black job happens to pay a lot of money. His job is to be 6'8", 240 pounds with a 35-inch vertical. That's the black job. Jerry Buss's job was to sit back and raise a bunch of money and own a team so that he gets to make all the decisions. That's what a black job and a white job looks like. That's all I got to say. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to join us for our financial consciousness training that we do every single morning, it's a private Zoom. You can come in and just get your batteries charged for the day on what your economic plan is going to be. Just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. The number's on the screen. Text morning to 87948. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. I have other podcasts on Spotify. One is called Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market, where I give regular updates on the stock market. I let you know stocks that I like, stocks that I'm buying, things like that. And in addition to that, last but not least, I hope you will join us at the All Black National Convention. The All Black National Convention takes place in Chicago, Illinois this year, October 25th through the 27th. And that is where we solve our own problems. We work together with the best Black scientists, engineers, researchers, teachers, scholars, thinkers, medical doctors, attorneys, etc., and we solve our own problems. So if you are into that kind of thing and you want to be in a space where the energy is very, very positive, join us in Chicago. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Brother Nuri Muhammad is our keynote speaker this year, along with Lamar Tyler, who is the Black millionaire maker. And we also have lots of therapists that are coming, lots of professionals from all different backgrounds, real estate experts, crypto experts, stock market investing experts. Constance Carter, who's a real estate genius, is going to be there. So we're going to have a lot of great people there. So I hope you'll join us. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. You can learn more. Have a good day, everybody. And my wife is probably, I got to go apologize to my wife now because I asked her for 10 more minutes and I took like 30 or 40. So let me go make it up to her and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Peace. Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Hold on. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say hello to everybody as you come in. Today, I want to talk a little bit about something that I put up on Twitter earlier that involved stallions and glorrillas, and basically kind of talking about the image of the Black female in hip hop and whether or not we are getting to the point where we are sort of allowing or even contributing to certain racial stereotypes that are ultimately unhealthy for the community, unhealthy for the Black family, and really add to the racism that we complain about. And so do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, make sure you subscribe. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I hope everybody's doing well. I hope that you're having a great night. Sometimes on Saturday night or Friday night, I will just go live and I will talk about some of the more interesting things that I see in the Black community. You guys know my background is I'm a finance professor, but also I love to talk about things that relate to economics. This is something that I love to do, and I love to pick topics. That's a fun challenge for me, is to find a topic that you think has nothing to do with economics and to show you that it's always about the money. Now, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, shout out what city you're from, put a B1 in the chat, B1 if you're Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of the priority list. I want to say hello to my name is Corey and DDS, brother. Thank you for watching the chat. I appreciate you. Let's see. Kashif says, love this guy. You are greatly appreciated. Dot man, you are greatly appreciated too. Thank you so much. Trey J, Phil X, good to see everybody. And feel free to put the name of your city and the name of your business. Yoshika, the wonderful Yoshika Garner. I love seeing your name in the chat too. It boosts me up with confidence, girl. All right, so here we go. Let's jump into this conversation. I'm gonna jump right into it. I had a little bit of a debate on Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins and the number 1. And I hope that if you have a Twitter, you will follow me on Twitter so that we can participate in these conversations, because I think they need to be had. So here was the conversation we had today. This had to do with a question I asked. I just asked the question, and of course it drew a reaction. I knew that it would, and it was about rappers. It was kind of about this idea that I can't help it, but I see these rappers, two beautiful women. One is called Megan Thee Stallion, and the other one's called Glorilla. And I thought about, well, what is a stallion and what is a gorilla? A gorilla is a big, brutish, hairy, hyper strong animal. And a stallion is actually, in case y'all don't know, how many of y'all knew this? Give me a yes or no if you knew that a stallion is an adult male uncastrated horse. Did y'all know that? How many of y'all knew that? How many of y'all know that a stallion is an adult male uncastrated horse? Did y'all know that? And so it's not just a horse, which that's bad enough. A horse is a horse, of course, right? It's not just that it's a horse. It's that it's an adult male uncastrated horse. That means it's big, strong, masculine. And also it is hypersexual. It wants to, right? That's what an adult male horse does. So it's not just a male horse, Sarah. It's an adult male uncastrated horse. So apparently from the definition I've seen, and maybe I'm wrong, tell me where I'm wrong, but if you are castrated, you're no longer a stallion, right? Stallions, if you think about Rocky Balboa, he was called the Stallion because the stallion was like, the alpha male. So I wanted to dig down this rabbit hole, and I knew that my comments were going to offend some people. And because there are people who, unfortunately, we will worship anything that white people put on TV. We will look up to anything, no matter how toxic, no matter how unhealthy it is, no matter how embarrassing or how bad the racial stereotype is, no matter how insulting it is to our people or to our women. We just love it anyway because of money. It's all about money and fame. Right. So when people have money and we say, OK, white folks paid their money to do this, it must be good. And this is a problem that we have. This is a problem that it's my job to kind of bring up as a finance guy, that all money ain't good money. Making money to embarrass yourself or embarrass your community ain't good money. Now, this is no disrespect to these rappers. They're very, very talented. I listen to their music. I think it's fine. There's no problem in terms of the talent level. But I think that you really want to process this because you're working against yourself in so many ways. Now, let me start with a simple question. I'm going to ask y'all a simple question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you dislike racism? Give me a yes in the chat if you dislike racism. Give me a yes in the chat if you dislike racial stereotypes. How many of you dislike racial stereotypes? Give me a yes in the chat if racial stereotypes bother you, if you don't think that they're fair, if you don't like it when white folks do that to you. You go in as a black woman and they think that you automatically know how to twerk. How many of you think that that's a terrible thing? Or you go in as a black woman, everybody assumes that you're strong. You a strong black woman. I'm a strong. Come over here, Nora. I'm a strong black woman. I'm a bend you over, boy. I'm a whoop your ass, oh Nora. Right? How many of y'all are a little offended by that? Anybody offended by this whole idea that black women are just, kind of these hypersexualized brutes? That are going to bend you over and take your booty like Diddy allegedly did, right? Does anybody kind of, have a problem with that? I do. Maybe you are okay with that. Maybe that's comfortable for you. Maybe you enjoy this, in which case we should probably talk. I don't enjoy these things because the black women I know don't necessarily need to carry around all that weight. In fact, with my wife, if I see her carrying something heavy up the steps, I say, look, I know you're strong, but I'm stronger. I know you are capable, but in this regard, I, as the man, feel that it is important for me to allow you to feel your softer side. I want you to get a chance to sit back and just know, babe, I got this. I got the suitcase. And she lets me do it. But it's hard though. It's hard because the world has kind of abandoned the Black woman. That not all Black women are able to have someone they can depend on. And that's why I challenge all Black men who care about Black women to really assert yourself in terms of making sure that you're there. Make sure you're present, you're emotionally strong, you're able to be that consistent, solid rock for the Black women that you care about. Give me a yes in the chat if you are a man, if you understand that this is important. I need y'all to really internalize this, okay? So here's what I knew was going to occur. I knew that by sort of saying something that questions the status quo, I knew that I would have people that would come in and not necessarily be able to debate me on the issue. I get it. Maybe I'm intimidating for some people, but they don't debate you. What they do is they'll say something mean to you. They like one guy came in and said, he said that was a granddad comment. And I said, yeah, I am 52 and I am a granddad, but maybe your granddaddy knew something. Maybe your granddaddy wasn't a dumbass. Maybe your granddaddy actually knows a couple of things that you need to listen to. Maybe if you listen to your granddaddy more, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. I don't know. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that maybe we need to listen to our granddaddies and grandmothers. And I said, look, if you don't hold it against me that I am a grandfather, then I won't hold it against you that you're 25 years old who don't know shit. How about that? How about this? You don't hold it against me that I'm a 52-year-old man who knows a couple things, and I won't hold it against you that you are 29 years old with horrible credit, or that you or with no money in the bank, where you're not happy with your woman and your life ain't right. I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying that maybe part of the reason that you're struggling is because you don't listen to your granddaddy. Okay, so here's the deal. I think that in these conversations, one of the things we got to stop doing is making them into ignorant discussions. And what do I mean by that? An ignorant discussion is where we don't actually debate. We don't sort of express free ideas. We don't go back and forth and kind of lay out our point of view. We just come back with these simple-minded teenager-like responses, because you got a lot of 40-year-old teenagers on the internet. You be hating, dog. You be hating. Is that all you got? Come on, man. You need to give me more than that. my brain needs something to chew on. And you be hating. That's a three-word response that indicates to me that you don't have a legitimate reply, that you can't defend your position. That makes me not respect you. Now, I want to respect you, which means that if you come to me and you say, hey, doc, I think that another way to look at it is like this, that's fine. So the reason that this rapper calls herself a stallion is because she means this and this and this. And here's the thing. Here's what you got to deal with. Here's what you got to understand. The racism that we complain about so much, a lot of it is really a two-way street. It really is, right? Racism is it's a two-person tango. A lot of y'all think racism is simply in the hands of white people, that if white people simply change their behavior, then everything will get better. Or if white folks just stop being mean to us, then everything will get better. Well, what I'm saying to you is that sometimes maybe you're mean to yourself. Sometimes because of money, there's that word money. You guys know I'm a financial scientist. So when I see money impeding on your ability to be a free thinking, liberated Black person, I jump in. That's when I go I have to come in and say, wait a minute, what are you talking about, man? So what I'm saying to you is that when you fight against those, like the Frances Cress-Welsings and the others who have been consistent. Tell me, let's give a shout out to Frances Cress-Welsing. Let's bring her into the room. Give me a yes if you know who Frances Cress-Welsing is. Do you know who Frances Cress-Welsing is? She's a woman who's far greater than me. She's an amazing woman. She's not the kind of woman you're ever going to see celebrated by the music industry. Frances Cress-Welsing is not the kind of woman that you're ever going to see celebrated by corporate America. Frances Cress-Welsing is not the kind of woman you're ever going to see celebrated at major, even HBCUs. Howard University fired this woman. Why? Well, why would you fire a woman who wanted Black people to have dignity and to be dignified? Well, a lot of it's because they weren't ready for what she had to say. And she's the kind of person who spoke consistently on these issues. I ain't the first one. And so I appreciate y'all giving me credit for speaking on this issue. But just know I am not the alpha of this conversation. I'm not the omega. I'm none of this. I'm not the first. I'm not the last. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm just one of a lineage of people who have said, wait a minute, just because white folks is putting money behind it, don't make it right. Just because they got some Negro on stage don't mean that's a successful Black person. Just because that person was on your favorite TV show, that does not mean that what they're doing is okay. And so really, if you dig into this, here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to lay out some pieces to this conversation that I hope you will consider so that you'll just kind of understand that everything that glitters ain't gold. And just because it's twerking, that don't mean it's working. Just because it's twerking don't mean it's working. So let's start here. But before I do that, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This podcast is on Spotify, and I have a few podcasts on Spotify. I actually do a daily update on the stock market. So if you look up Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market, you'll find that. Also, I have another one called the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. So feel free to go to Spotify, and you can find my name. And also, my website is BoyceWatkins.com. So if you want to look at some of the stuff that I have in my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, you can go to BoyceWatkins.com. Okay, so we were talking about Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla in particular, but not because I want to pick on these two rappers, right? What we really want to talk about is hip-hop and the continuous stereotyping of Black women and where these stereotypes may come from. So when you see imagery of women that are in a position where they are forced to be masculine and hypersexualized, the thing that you have to understand is that this is a phenomenon that is particularly preserved for Black women. Now, let's go through some of this. My wife, I'd like to bring my wife in on the conversation at some point as well, because she has done some extensive work on the stereotypes of Black females that make it hard for all Black women. So here's a short list of some of the stereotypes they have of Black women. First, there's the angry Black woman. This is a stereotype that portrays Black women as naturally aggressive, angry, and confrontational, disregarding their legitimate emotions and concerns. There's the image of the strong Black woman, the stallion. I'm a strong Black woman. I'm a strong Black. Come over here, boy. I'm a strong Black woman. There's that stereotype that Black women are super strong, that Black women don't feel pain, that Black women are just that they can lift tall buildings in a single bound. There is also the stereotype of Black women as being hypersexual. They call it the horse stereotype. And so this is the stereotype that Black women are definitely, that they're down to sleep with whoever. If you got $10 in a bag of Cheetos, she gonna give you access to the good stuff. And this is another stereotype that we have to confront and deal with as Black people. This is one that we claim that we're against. Now I'm gonna ask y'all a quick question as we go forward. Give me a yes if you agree that these stereotypes are bad. Give me a yes if you agree that it's wrong to have a stereotype that Black women are angry. Put a yes in the chat. Give me a yes if you agree that it's wrong to have a stereotype that Black women are hyper masculine, that they're super resilient and endure limitless hardship without support, often leading to the emotional and physical needs being overlooked. How many of y'all think that that's a good stereotype, or that that's a bad stereotype? Give me a yes if you think it's bad. Yes means bad. All right, and then give me a yes if you think that the hypersexuality stereotype that Black women are twerking and licking and chewing on any body part that you want, and no matter what you offer them, and ready to just drop it like it's hot, all this other stuff. How many of y'all think that is not that is a problem, or am I the only one? Does that make me old-fashioned that I'm looking at this with some sort of concern? Does that mean that I should be ignored because they're paying you money to degrade your community and embarrass yourself this way? Does that make me old-fashioned? If that does make me old-fashioned, then screw you. Because I'll tell you what, maybe I am old-fashioned. Maybe I do remember a time where there was work to try to protect our women. Maybe I think maybe that makes me old-fashioned to kind of think, gosh, man, why y'all just acting like our women are just these big muscular hoes? Like that's what we kind of get, right? You're like hypersexual, but you're also like this big brute that can whoop anybody's ass. What else? There's another stereotype. Another stereotype is the welfare queen. This was something that was heavily leaned on during the Reagan administration. They put an image of a Black woman getting welfare, and everybody thought Black women were taking all the welfare money. There's the image of the gold digger. And then there's another one, the image of the mammy. And the mammy image is more of an Aunt Jemima-ish kind of image. It's like, okay, I be birthing these babies, and I be out here just, taking care of the youngins, and I be breastfeeding your chillums, that kind of thing, right? And actually what a lot of people would say is that Oprah Winfrey made $1 billion
fulfilling the mammy stereotype. And that's just a reality that Oprah was kind of seen as everybody's mama. And then you have, movies like The Help. If you remember The Help, did anybody give me a yes if you remember that movie, The Help? Did you see The Help in terms of like what that looked like? And that was two black women who played maids, and they were serving white females, and that was kind of the whole premise of the movie, right? And you have Driving Miss Daisy and movies like that, right? So there's an image of the black woman as kind of the ultimate mammy, the mommy substitute, and these are images that can be rode to the tune of billions of dollars. One of the things that's interesting about money, and you guys know I'm all about money. I talk about money every single day. In fact, we do financial awareness training every single morning at 10 a.m. That's a free class for anybody that thinks that you have to pay money to be in the Black Business School. You do not have to pay money. This is a 100% free class. And in financial awareness training, one of the things that I try to do is to help you understand how money moves your society, how money shapes your life, and to be conscious of money, to understand the difference between good money and bad money, to understand where the money's at so you can get it. To help you see the money. If you can't see the money, you'll never be the money. And so really, when you look at these stereotypes, one of the most dangerous things about these stereotypes that I think as Black people we have to understand is that these stereotypes are really harmful for all of us. These stereotypes are harmful for the rest of us, but profitable for those who are willing to fulfill those stereotypes. If you get in front of that audience of non-Black people, and you behave in the way that they expect you to behave, then they are going to pay you well for that. And if you make the mistake of believing that because you're being paid well, that means that what you're doing is working, that what you're doing is good, then you're going to be contributing to the demise and the embarrassment of your own community. Do you understand that? Give me a yes if you follow that argument, that money is a deceiver. Money is not evil, but money can be evil. Money is very powerful. Money can incentivize you to do things that you would not normally do. Money can put you in a situation where you embarrass your whole family, but and you go full throttle with it because you think you're winning. Megan Thee Stallion thinks that she's a successful Black woman, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy she was quote unquote successful, but she also got shot in the foot by her boyfriend. Like that. That's not, to me, that's not success. That's not a good life. She's probably traumatized and terrorized and scared half to death, and I don't blame her. It's very, very sad to me to see these things. Glorilla, sure, you're on stage, but look at what you have to do to get up there. You can't do what the white females do. You can't go up like Adele and just sing and show your talent. You can't go up and do what that white lady, what's the girl's name who made Taylor Swift? You can't do a Taylor Swift. They would never let you go and do what Taylor Swift does. You got to go twerk. You got to stick your tongue out. You got to tell everybody about your sex life. You have to go be above and beyond in this, what I would define as a type of minstrel show that we are pushed to pursue, that Lizzo participates at full throttle. Lizzo's interesting. Lizzo's special. Let me tell you why Lizzo is special. I'm going to give you at least 3 reasons why Lizzo is a very special woman. Let me break this down. I'm not even being sarcastic here. But maybe I am. Okay, let me just stop lying about that. Lizzo is special because Lizzo fulfills multiple stereotypes at the same time. That's amazing. I really am impressed that Lizzo is able to fulfill multiple stereotypes at once. Lizzo fulfills the mammy stereotype because she's the big Black woman who all the white girls love. They always love that big, loving Black mammy type. She fulfills the hypersexual stereotype. Every time you see Lizzo, she's always twerking. She's always doing something sexual. And it's very unfortunate because it's getting her sued. Did anybody see that? How many of y'all, give me a yes or no if you saw Lizzo's big lawsuit? Did y'all see that lawsuit? Lizzo's being sued for a lot of money because apparently they pay her to pursue these insane shenanigans. And the bigger of a clown, the bigger of a buffoon that she is, the more money she makes. But the problem is that you can't do those things in a workplace. When you read that lawsuit, it's really disturbing. They talked about women on the job. Imagine going to work and your boss tells you to go and push a banana out of your hootie hoo. Like literally, she literally, allegedly, this is what they were kind of saying that she was doing, was they said that she was telling her employees to spit a banana out of their private part and all kinds of other stuff, right? So this is not something that you would expect on the job. This is something that you probably could take to HR. How many of you got a job? How many of you, if you went to work at Walmart or Google or Target or wherever you might work, or UPS, how many of you would go to HR if your boss said, I'm going to give you a raise if you stick this peanut into your coochie cooch, right? A lot of you would probably do that, right? So this is what Lizzo's dealing with. And this is quite predictable. It's unfortunate because it reminds me a little bit of what's happening with Diddy. The reason it reminds me of Diddy is because what happens in this industry, and this industry, by the way, this industry is not owned by black people. Y'all do understand hip hop is not owned and run by people that look like us. Do y'all know that? Y'all, how many of y'all know that? How many of y'all know that hip hop is this industry where we are the props? Hip hop is an industry where we are the commodities. Hip hop is an industry where we are not the owners of anything. The owners are people that look like that. They're people that, and in fact, there's an article here I'm looking at in the LA Times, and they said that top music industry executives are still overwhelmingly white and male, according to a report at USC. So according to this report at USC, the hip hop music industry is run by a lot of white males. And it says here, after a year of public displays of introspection concerning diversity and inclusivity in the entertainment industry, a new study from USC tracking the race and gender of top executives in the music business shows how much work is yet to be done. The study from USC's Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, released Tuesday morning, spells out just how stratified the music industry remains in its executive and professional ranks. This is in stark contrast to the popular music's leading streaming and airplay charts, which are regularly topped by black and female artists. The study surveyed a broad range of 4,060 executives at 119 music groups, record labels, music publishers, live promoters, radio companies, streaming services, and other major and independent music firms. It found that the top executives at 70 leading music companies, 86% were men, 86% were white. Did y'all hear that? Let me absorb it. Give me a yes. Sometimes I get excited. When stuff gets me going, I talk really fast. How many of you are concerned by this? I mean, process this. These are the people that are running the industry. Give me a yes if you agree with this statement, that while they're telling our women to call themselves gorillas and horses, right? Remember, a gorilla is a big, hairy, brutish, super strong animal. And a stallion is an uncastrated adult male horse. So while they got black women running around here, looking like animals or calling themselves animals, do you think that they're doing this to their children? What do y'all think? Do you think that they are putting their girls, their daughters out here, having them look crazy like that? You say, baby, you ain't nothing but a big old glorilla. You an angry woman. You a mammy. We want you to be the ultimate hoe. We want you to be the gold digger and the welfare queen. We want you to fulfill every negative stereotype there is, and we want you to embarrass our community. Do you think that they're doing that with their kids? Because I'm going to say the answer is no, and the reason the answer is no is because I want y'all to give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Can you name the white female version of Lizzo? Can you name one single white female? There's more white. Now, pay attention now. There's more white females in America than there are black people. Do we agree on that? So if there are more white females than black females, then you would expect that there would be 10 or 20 Lizzos. If the ratio is about 8-1, white to black, you would expect there to be 8 Lizzos for every white Lizzos for every one black Lizzo. So I'm not asking you to give me 8. I'm asking you, give me one. Just give me one white female who is just as famous as Lizzo, who is obese, shows up to Laker games with a booty out, wearing a thong, and twerks in public at every chance she gets. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do the Jeopardy countdown and wait for a moment and allow you to tell me. I'm gonna give you time to think about it. Tell me one person who is the white female Lizzo. Give me a yes or no. Can you think of anybody? Okay, so you can't think of anybody. All right, so let's do another test then, because I clearly must be out of my mind. I mean, on my Twitter, somebody told me I was out of touch and I was a grandpa, and I don't know what I'm talking about, because what they do is they get mad. They'll be like, "You're a so-called doctor, and you think you're better than everybody else. You're a so-called doctor, and yet you're stupid." I'm like, "No, I'm not a so-called doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a PhD doctor. And my PhD, you can look it up. It's from The Ohio State University. So no, I'm not a so-called PhD. I'm an actual PhD. So just so you know, and I'm not a financial influencer. I'm a finance professor. There's a difference. Financial influencers just talk a lot. I do talk a lot, but also I've got 20 years of I got my PhD 20 years ago. So please shut up. Just shut up and listen. All right. So let me ask you this. Can y'all name who is the white female version of Glorilla? Glorilla, let's do Glorilla and Megan at the same time. So can you, and also I want you to give me a yes or no. Is there a single picture anywhere on the internet of Taylor Swift doing a pose like that? Give me a yes or no. I mean, seriously, there's got to be one, right? Because apparently this is the racism ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm making things up. I'm being delusional. So can you think of one image of Taylor Swift? This is Megan Thee Stallion. She made a guest appearance on a Marvel show. Now, and she was teaching the She-Hulk how to twerk. Is there? I mean, can you name like who's the white female version of Megan Thee Stallion? Who's the white female that has a name that is similar to an adult, uncastrated male horse? You know, that twerks at every available opportunity, constantly takes pictures with her tongue out. Who is the white female Cardi B? There's her album cover. What's it called? Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1. Is that the name of the? Yeah, and she's sitting there. She got her legs spread wide open, and she's sucking on a liquor bottle. Would you say that that's just a glowing image of the black female? Like, would you say that this? And again, remember, the people that are running the industry, you ain't seeing no pictures of their daughters out here like this. They're like, no, we don't do that sort of thing. That's for the Negroes. they like this sort of thing. They like to be seen this way. And I want you to just kind of think about this. I want you to just really kind of process this. This is what they're doing to the image of the black woman. And then I got to go on Twitter, and first people that argue with me are not even the white folks. Even the white folks look at it and they're like, what the hell are y'all doing? There's lots of non-black people who look at this and say, why would you let people misrepresent your community this way? And I'm gonna tell you why it happens. It happens because many of us are financially desperate. That's what it is. It's just financial desperation. That's what that is. When you're economically desperate, you will do anything in order to get money. And so one of the things that I think allows people like myself to make a contribution is that I like to train you on how to make sure that your children understand wealth and money so they don't have to embarrass themselves to get money. You know, I don't want my girls out there doing stuff like that just so they can get a nickel. I don't want them telling struggle stories. And this is really where it's all of our responsibility, right? It's, you know, it's not me, you know, beating up on the black women who do these things. It's more so all of us talking about just what's required for us to fix this. It's me challenging even black men to say, come on, man, you know, we got to stand up and defend ourselves and defend our women. We can't have them out here desperate like this. And in fact, I'm gonna read some stats to you that will help you to connect the dots in terms of the imagery of the black female in hip hop and what's going on with the black female in society. But before I do that, do me a favor. If you could, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. As you guys may or may not know, every single morning I have a free class. It is called Economic Awareness Training, EAT. And so what I do is I teach you how to eat because I want you to eat. I want you to eat, and I want you to eat healthy food. That means I want you to make your money in a way that is good. I don't want you to have to do desperate things for money. I'm a finance PhD. That's my profession. And so if you'd like to join us, the class is 100% free. You can text the word morning to 87948. Text morning to 87948. You can also go to drboyceelevate.com if you live out of the country. If you live out of the country, go to drboyceelevate.com. If you're in the country, just text the word morning to 87948. I'll send you an invitation to our economic awareness training because this is what's going on, right? What's going on, the reason that we are embarrassing ourselves in this way and the reason that we're cheering this on is because we don't always know exactly what's really happening. I'm going to tell you like this. When we talk about economic awareness and financial consciousness, I'm going to tell you who's very much economically aware. The people who promote these images are extremely economically conscious. Cardi B is economically conscious in her own way in one particular sense. For a Cardi B, if you notice, most of her lyrics, most of her music is about money. Like, you know, in fact, I think she has a whole song about money. So as a finance professor, of course, that perks my ears up. When you're rapping about money, it's like, okay, you love money, you want to get money. So my question then becomes, how are you getting your money? Because all money ain't good money. So what Cardi B does, unfortunately, and this is not her fault, because I think she's actually a smart lady. I respect talented lyricists, and I consider her to be a talented lyricist. You know, they have a level of intelligence, and you actually see, believe it or not, just to give her credit, Cardi B's really evolving. If you notice, she allowed them to use her in the last presidential election, where I guess Biden did an interview with her and she endorsed him. Well, this time around, she said she's not voting for anybody, and that shows me that she spent time processing and thinking about what she wants to do politically and how she wants to use her power. So I have nothing against her, but if you listen to her songs and listen to the lyrics carefully, and this is something that I do, you know, when I was on the Breakfast Club 4 times. I didn't go in there blind. I don't go in not knowing about the culture that I'm speaking about. A lot of people that think that because I'm 52, I don't know what's happening in hip hop. You're silly. I've followed hip hop for 30 something years, so I know everything that's happening in the space for the most part. I follow these things very closely. The difference is, though, that I process it very carefully. I listen to the lyrics. I listen to the messages, because remember, these are the messages that are being given to our little girls. And whether you like it or not, with great power comes great responsibility. Whether you like it or not, these images do matter. Whether you like it or not, the way we portray the Black woman around the world is the way people are going to view the Black woman around the world. Am I right or am I right? Do you agree? What do you think? If you're portraying images of the Black female in a way that is highly inappropriate, then people are going to meet Black women and assume that this is who you are. This is the stereotype that you fit. And so with this pursuit of money, because that's all, it's all about money. That's why I'm talking about it as a finance professor, because this is all about money. When you're pursuing money in this way, in this reckless, irresponsible way, it's a little bit of a contradiction for you in one hand to say, I hate racial stereotypes. And then to say, I don't want to be mistreated, or to say, I don't want you to see me as a stereotype. But yet at the same time, you're making all this money promoting the stereotype. Do you follow what I'm saying? I hope you let me know if you follow what I'm saying, because sometimes I don't want to get too deep on people, but it's true. So if you think about the images of the Black woman, let's go through them really quickly. The stereotypes. You've got the angry Black woman, the Black woman who's just pissed off at everybody and everything all the time, who is this unlovable creature that nobody wants to get close to because she's angry, and that's one stereotype. You've got the mammy stereotype. That would be the Oprah Winfrey. That's the one who be birthing all the babies and breastfeeding all the kids and all that. You've got the hypersexualized whore stereotype, which is that Black women are just all about breeding with no accountability. They just want to be babies' mamas, and that's it. And then you have the gold digger and the gold digger / welfare queen stereotype, right? All she wants you for is your money, and all she wants to do is pick up a welfare check so she can take care of her babies all by herself. Now, let me throw in one thing that does happen with this, and this is unfortunate, is that when you have these images of the Black female that are sort of perpetuated through society, I think that it does give this horrible, highly inaccurate image of the Black woman as being this unlovable, unwanted creature. That okay, she's not really a person. She is a stallion and a glorilla. And gorillas, nobody wants to love a gorilla. Like if you look at a stallion is an adult castrated, an adult uncastrated male horse, a big, strong male horse that wants to have sex with everything, and a big hairy gorilla. Nobody wants to cuddle up with that big, hairy ass, muscular gorilla, which is the connection I made. When you call yourself Glorilla, it's like, why would you want to be a gorilla? I don't get that. And then you have the stallion. Nobody cuddles up with a stallion because the stallion is going to screw you. That's what stallions do, right? So ultimately, these stereotypes all connect, and these stereotypes are promoted by people who run the music industry who do not look like us. And so to me, the enemy is not the Lizzos. Lizzo got really mad at me, and Lizzo made comments and started getting into fights with me. But the thing is, I'm conscious of these things because I'm a little bit older than her. I understand the game. The game is that people like this pit people like me against the Lizzos of the world. So when I come along and say, come on, sweetheart, you're beautiful, you're talented, you can play the flute, why you got to twerk while you're doing it? Why you got to simulate sucking a man's penis in order to get attention? Why do you have to humiliate yourself that way? Why are you showing up at a Lakers game with your booty out where little children got to go sit on these seats with your juices all over the seats? Like, why do you have to do all that? Why the clown show? Why the circus? When I say these things, then what they do is these people get in her ear and they say, oh, there goes the patriarchy. There goes. They use one stereotype against the other. They pit the Black man and the Black woman against each other. Give me a yes if you agree. They do that. They'll come in and because they control the media. They don't just control the music industry. Pay attention now. This is all financial. This is a financial lesson you will never forget. This is a financial class right now that we're having. I hope you understand how this is a financial conversation. It is their control of wealth and money that allows them to do this. So what they'll do is they'll use media. So when Lizzo got mad because I basically said, I don't understand why this lady's got to be out here humiliating herself in this way. So what the media then did, pay attention now, this is a true fact. They then perpetuated this image all throughout media, through the entire Associated Press. Thousands of publications pretty much wrote up the article as, as Lizzo tells off sexist black male professor, or they didn't say black male professor, but she tells off sexist patriarch professor when he says blah, 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 right? So they're pitting me against her when I'm the one who's protecting you from all the nonsense. I'm the one who's warning you that, look, if you keep acting like this, you're going to get sued, girl. They're going to take everything you got. They're going to do a Diddy and a Bill Cosby on you. They pit us against each other when I'm the one who says, no, come on, you're better than that. They pit us against each other when I say, I know they're telling you to go twerk and sexualize yourself, but I think that you can do more than that. I think you can sing. You should be able to do what Adele does. Adele ain't got to twerk. Adele ain't out here putting stuff in her mouth. Adele ain't out here sticking her tongue out. Adele just shows up and sings. That white lady, Taylor Swift, she ain't not one single thing that Lizzo has done on stage that Taylor Swift has also done. Taylor Swift does not have to do those things. Taylor Swift can go and just be a human being and make $1 billion. Now, is it wrong for me to want that? Does that make me the villain? Or are we dealing with a world where people, because they have their money and their power and they control the music industry on one hand and the media on the other? I think that what happens here, I don't think I know. They pit the black male against the black female. So when the black male shows up, this is why, ladies, this is why sometimes it's hard for brothers to step up and show support and protection. It's hard because then you get people in your ear that will tell you that I'm the enemy or that we're the enemy, when really we're the ally. Really, I mean, you really think Russ Weisenberg or whoever runs the music industry label, you really think he cares about your best interest? You really think that these people are sitting around saying, golly, I really want to see strong black families? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do you think these people sit around and think, and they have conspiracies at some point? They're planning something. They're conscious of something. They're thinking about something. When they have their meetings, they're talking about something. So do you think that in their meetings, I want to ask y'all this question. This is a consciousness exercise. Do you think that when they're sitting down, when Rothenstein and Heiselberg get together and have a meeting, do you think that they're sitting around saying, gosh, how do we reduce violence in black communities? Yes or no? Do you think that when they get together, they sit and they say, gosh, we really want to make sure we really rejoin the black family because these children really need a father in the house? Do you think that that's what's happening? Do you think that they sit and they say, gosh, Bob, I was looking at these statistics on black wealth, Bob, and I noticed that African-American wealth has been on the decline, and that's a problem. We've got to fix that. Do you think they're thinking about that? You think they're thinking about ways to create financial security for black people, stronger families, better neighborhoods? What do you think? Or do you think that they're sitting around saying, okay, how do we get so-and-so to twerk a little more so we can make it a little extra money? Oh, people loved it when you got on top of the table and was shaking your booty and we really we want to put you on TV so that you can be as outrageous as possible. So you can go out here and really, really, really outsell your last album, because we want to make money and we don't really give a damn what the societal implications are of your behavior. We just want that we want your stereotypes to show up to work every day so that we can profit from those stereotypes, and the negative externalities and the negative outcomes or the negative side effects of your behavior, that belongs to you. That belongs to you people. You people have to figure it out, because we're not doing that with our kids. We're not going to let our girls go out here and act like this, but we'll let your girls do it all day. I don't know if people, I know this offends people, and I know people don't want to hear this, but whatever. Hate me if you want to. I don't give a damn if you hate me. I don't care if you hate me. If you hate me, that ain't going to affect me. What the only thing, the way you can affect me is if you prove me wrong. Can you prove me wrong? Can you prove me wrong that I just made a bunch of points and I laid it out very carefully and very clearly? You can't prove me wrong. That's why you get mad. You're not used to accountability. You're not used to somebody saying all money ain't good money. You're used to a world where it's money over everything, money over hoes, money. I'll die for money. I'll kill for money. Money, power, respect. I get money. I get money. Get money. That's literally the mindset. And my thing is, like, it's okay to get money. I mean, shoot, I'm a financial scientist. All I've done was study money for 30 years. But at the same time, money can turn you into something that you're not supposed to be. money can destroy you as quickly as it can build you up. And I don't know if we think about that enough. And that's one of the reasons we have so many challenges. That's why these stereotypes persist. That's why your son might get shot by the cops, because a lot of times the cops have a negative perception of black males and they're scared of him before they meet him. Maybe that's why, if you look at the stats, let's go through some quick stats, because I want to make these points really quick. If you look at unmarried rates, as of the recent data, 48% of black women in America, adult age, are unmarried. In the 1960s, before integration, only 28% of black women aged 25 and older had never been married. By 1980, this percentage rose to 40%. By the 2000s, it was 42%, and in the 2010s, it was 45%, and the number has continued to go up. So now it's up to 48%. So every decade in the last 50 years, the percentage of black women that are unmarried has consistently grown. There are studies that show that this also links to things like the Biden mass incarceration epidemic. When they put so many of your men in prison, it broke down your families in twofold. One, because your men were in prison, so they can't marry you if they're locked up. But then number two, these men that are supposed to be raising your sons are not there to raise your sons, so your sons are not growing up to become men. Let me know if you're following that. I need yes confirmations to let me know that you're getting what I'm saying, because I don't want to talk too fast. I don't want you to gloss over that point. When you don't have the fathers around, when the fathers are not raising your boys, that's when you get these she-males out here. That's when you get these bearded babies out here. That's when you get these 45-year-old teenagers from. That's where they come from. They come from the fact that they never had a father that was kicking them in the ass and forcing them to be men. That's the reality. That's something, for whatever reason, people don't want to talk about it. Maybe it's politically incorrect. Maybe it's not a warm, fuzzy conversation that you're looking for, but the world ain't warm and fuzzy. And so, generally speaking, the breakdown of the family is directly connected to the breakdown of the African-American male. A lot of this occurred through hip hop. I believe, as Ice Cube has alluded to and others, that there was a conspiracy in the 80s and the 90s to take out opportunities from the black community and replace it with drugs and guns. And then they have music that glorified the drugs and guns, which caused your men to lose who they're supposed to be, to the point where they became butt naked, crazy, ignorant and crazy and violent and ridiculous in terms of the things that we celebrated. You should not be looking up to the drug dealer more than you look up to the scientist. You should not be looking up to the hustler and the thug more than you're looking up to the person who takes care of his kids. There's nothing about Russell Wilson, who's taking care of baby Future. If you know, Russell Wilson married the singer Sierra. There's nothing about Russell Wilson that on any planet would make him into some sort of a simp, except for a culture that has been bastardized to the point where you celebrate extreme amounts of black male irresponsibility. Give me a yes if you're following what I'm saying. Give me a yes if you've seen this. Give me a yes if you've noticed any of this. So effectively, what has happened is that both the black male and the black female, in terms of our self-image, our image of each other, and the image that is seen by the world, has been just chopped up and poisoned in so many ways. Poisoned through poisonous, toxic culture that is not controlled by you. It is run by people that run companies like Paramount Global, people that run Universal Music Group, people that run these other record labels. It's the people that run the media, and they will. And the reason you can't see it, pay attention now. The reason you can't see what is being done to you and what's being done to your family, done to your culture, done to your community, is because it's all covered with money. Money is this crazy thing that I meditate on it a lot in terms of understanding what it does and where it's at and how it works. Money has a way of putting perfume on a pig. You understand what I'm saying? Money is where they take a piece of crap and they put it and they tell you that it's chocolate cake. They take a big pile of doo-doo and they put icing on it and they put little candles on it, and you will bite into that big pile of doo-doo like it's a delicious chocolate cake, and because that's what somebody told you, and you'll be like, damn, this thing stinks, it's nasty, but damn, but then the person next to you says, this chocolate cake is so good, and you will literally sit there and eat a big pile of doo-doo that's chocolate cake because you see everybody else eating the doo-doo thinking that it's chocolate cake. But that doo-doo that they're serving you, that's not your birthday cake, bro. That's not your the delicious cake that you think that it is. That's really doo-doo. That's what it stinks and it's nasty because that's what it is. And so when you look at the culture, that's what they did with the culture. They call it the culture. And I keep telling you, I've been saying this for 20 years. I said, that is not our culture. That is not who we are. We ain't all growing up trying to be like Rick Ross and these really immature, baseless, weak men with no substance. Like, that's kind of what hip hop produces. The Diddy's of the world. I've been saying stuff like that about the Diddy's long before the world decided that Diddy was a bad guy. I was saying, I said, what in the world makes you look up to this guy? He talks a lot, doesn't get anything done really, not for the black community. He's not even really the leader of anything. He's a guy who works for these people where they sell this vodka, and you somehow think that that's some sort of model of black success. And now that model of black success is the same guy that you're vilifying now and saying, oh, he's a terrible person, isn't it? I'm like, well, why? You couldn't see that before? Oh, I get it. Oh, that's right. You were hypnotized by the money because you think all money is good money. So anyway, I'm going to make my final point on this. If you could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. And yes, Mashawn, I am live right now. Sometimes I don't go live. Sometimes it is a recording, but right now I am live. But then again, you may be looking at the recording and then think that I'm in the recording saying that it's live, because sometimes I'll play it again. But also, if you want to get started on your economic journey in the Black Business School, we have 176,000 students worldwide. A lot of our classes are low cost or free. We are the Black wealth experts of America and the world. We're better at Black wealth than any other group in the country. We partner with scientists and thinkers from all walks of life in our community to solve our problems. And I believe this is more effective than any politician. It's more effective than any public policy. It's more effective than any entertainer. We're getting it done. So if you'd like to get started on your journey, you can go to blackmoney101.com. That's blackmoney101.com. I wrote my dissertation on the stock market. That's where wealth is being built. I can help you get started there. We have people that can do real estate. We have people that can do entrepreneurship. Whatever you want to do, we got you. We also are the only institution out here that's really aggressively educating Black children on wealth. One of the secrets to wealth that a lot of people don't know, and this keeps your kids off the stripper pole and keeps them out of the streets and out of the silly situations, is that if you teach your children about wealth, or you do things like the Black Wealth Master Plan, where you invest just $5 a day for that newborn baby, well, then what happens is that your child gets to a point where by the time they're 25 years old, they are financially secure. By the time they're 25 or 30 years old, they're not out here desperate for money. They're not signing bad record deals because they can't pay the rent. They're not out here doing things that are going to embarrass themselves because they don't have enough money. The Black Wealth Master Plan, which is 100% free, is free to the community. And I keep repeating that because I know that there are people who don't believe that we can solve this problem. There are people who don't support anything that's Black. There are people who will go along with bad ideas from the white community, but will ignore good ideas from the Black community. But I can tell you it's 100% free. It's blackwealthmasterplan.com. I made an ebook on a $5 a day investing plan. And what I explained to you is that if you do this for your newborn child, if you love your child enough to invest for them from birth, if you care enough to prepare a plan for them, then by the time your child's 25 years old, they've got a couple $100,000 in the bank. So I want you to think about this. So let's go back. Let's talk about this topic. And the URL is blackwealthmasterplan.com. So feel free to go take a look. If you go back and you look at some of this ridiculous imagery of the Black female that's being pushed throughout hip hop, I want you to ask this basic question. Do you think, give me a yes or no, do you think that Megan Thee Stallion would be, exploiting herself in this way and doing just anything to make a dollar if she was financially secure, if her parents had made a plan for her? I read Megan Thee Stallion's whole bio. I read her whole life story. I don't think her daddy was around. I think her mama was a rapper. I think that there was financial struggle. She signed a bad contract. She ended up suing the record label because she said she got exploited. But the reality is that they didn't make her sign that contract. So what made her sign it? Somebody made her sign it. What made her sign it? It was financial desperation. That's what made her sign it. That's what made her do it. The devil made you do it. The devil made you do it. The devil is in the struggle. The devil is in the poverty. The devil is in the scarcity. That's where the devil's at. Y'all got to understand. And so you got rappers that are out here listening to the devil. They're being driven by the devil. And I'm not talking about this from a religious standpoint. I'm talking about when you got beautiful young women like Glorilla taking pictures like this. I mean, literally booty cheeks spread out just so I can get attention. There's very rarely a Black child that's raised with financial security who is not struggling to pay the rent, who will go to such desperate means to get attention and to get a couple dollars in their pocket. There's rarely a child with economic intelligence and financial security who will sign a record deal that basically becomes a deal with the devil, where they're stuck and they're locked into a terrible contract like Megan was, and they find themselves humiliating themselves in order to get paid. So I need y'all to kind of help me with this. Give me a quick yes, if you can, to let me know that you understand the connection here. Let me know if you understand why economics is one of the solutions to this problem. That if our children are raised in a way where they can make money the right way, They can make money in a safe way. They can make money in a way that's going to benefit them. They don't have to go sign horrible, horrible, imbalanced, exploitative, racist contracts from people who look like this. They don't have to go to these people. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Here's what I want you to understand. Pay attention now. I need y'all to listen. All the people that are in this picture, these music industry executives who are mostly non-black, mostly male, I bet every nickel in your bank account and mine that not one of these individuals has a daughter who is out here twerking for money. Not one of these individuals in this picture tells their child that if you go sign this horrible, lopsided, exploitative deal with the devil contract with Universal, that's going to get you out the hood. Not one of them is having those conversations with their kids. But we think that is part of being black. We think that we're supposed to be in the struggle. We think that Cardi B, I like Cardi B, actually. There's a part of me that really likes her. Sometimes she gets on my nerves, but there's a part of me that really likes her. And here's what I like about Cardi B. You know what I like about Cardi B? This is a moment of honesty. I like Cardi B because she's honest. I appreciate the honesty. Because the honesty really is where she really tells you the things that she did for money when money was dry. She talks about how she used to do Bill Cosby's on men. She used to take advantage of men's lack of sexual discipline. And so a man comes in the club, he's trying to get some. She would lure him into a hotel room, and then they would drug him, and they would take all his money and maybe take some things that money should not buy. They would take his money, and she would get a guy to come in, and if she didn't like the guy, she'd have the guy come in and do a ditty on this man. Like, that's what she used to do to get money. She talks about this, which is fascinating to me. I'm really fascinated by the fact that no one ever really thought to say, okay, she should probably be prosecuted or held accountable, or she should be canceled for this. Isn't that interesting though? Let's pause in that moment. Doesn't anybody else think that that's so strange? That, like, imagine if a guy said that. Like, imagine if Diddy was like, yeah, I went and I drugged and raped somebody and took all their money. Like, do you really think that would just be overlooked? Like, oh, well, that's okay. He was just doing what he had to do to survive. Or do you think that people would say, okay, let's do a deeper investigation? So I want to just point that out to you in terms of looking at some of the biases that do exist in our society. I find that really fascinating that people just overlooked that statement. And no one sort of said, okay, wait a minute, that's worse than what Cosby did. But nobody said that, right? But anyway, with Cardi, if you listen to her music carefully, which I've done, she raps about money. She got a whole song about money. Money, I need money. I like money, right? And how does she know to get money? Well, she basically gets money by offering her good stuff, right? I know, again, call me old fashioned. I sound. Somebody on Twitter said I sound like a grandpa earlier, and that made me feel kind of bad because I am a grandpa, and I'm like, dang, what's wrong with being a grandpa? Is that bad? I thought grandpas were wise. I thought grandpas know a couple things, and I'm gonna just tell you like this. I kind of feel like when you talk about money, that there are some things that really just should not be for sale. I don't know if that makes me weird or old fashioned or makes me uppity, but I kind of get concerned when I hear a person who's rapping, who's like this role model for young black girls, who's considered to be black excellence, black girl magic. And she's literally rapping and saying that if you want access to the bag, just, take your clothes off and go catch STDs from random nasty ass men and unwanted pregnancy. I really kind of think that maybe as a community, we may want to reconsider that public policy if we ever want to be successful as a people, if we ever want to have the stable families we deserve. And it's very unfortunate because, again, because I am a father of daughters, when I see desperate women, unfortunately, being forced to do desperate things to make money and being told to do these things by people who control their finances, that makes me say, gosh, where's your daddy at? Because I think your daddy is supposed to protect you. So this isn't just a problem for white folks. It's not just a problem for black women. It's a problem for all of us. It's really a problem that all of us have to think about and all of us have to address in our own way. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the topic. I'm sure I offended somebody. I always do. If I offended you, that's good. That means that I got you to think. And I hope that we can agree that that even if we disagree, we can still be friends. So give me a yes if that's okay. If you didn't like everything I said, that's okay. Chalk it up to the fact that I'm not perfect and not everybody's going to agree. I just think that we need to have conversations about this because this ain't the way. This is not going to get us where we want to get to. Everything we talk about eliminating racism and creating freedom in the community, there's nothing free about selling our little girls' bodies, so they can make a couple dollars. There's nothing liberating about having people embarrass themselves from our community just so they can pay the rent. There's nothing good about any of this. And I really personally think that these should not be seen as models of Black success. What these are is when you see these degrading images of our people, those are examples of epic amounts of failure. That is the failure of the community to protect our girls. That is the failure of society to do what is right. That is a failure of the family, the Black family. When the family fails, that's when you get people saying, okay, I'm going to go twerk for whoever can help me pay a bill because my daddy ain't around to help me. And that's what I generally see when I see these kinds of things. Remember, Megan Thee Stallion, again, think about this, process this for a minute. Now, I need y'all to really be conscious on this with me. She's supposed to be living the dream. Like, this is the example of extreme success. This is what all the rappers aspire to. And I know a lot of rappers. I had a conversation with a rapper. He was very good friends with a rapper in LA named PNB Rock. And PNB Rock, do y'all remember PNB Rock? Give me a yes if you remember him. PNB Rock got shot, I think, in the middle of a Denny's or something. It was a Denny's or Roscoe's or something like that. And he was in this restaurant, and somebody just somehow, I think his girlfriend tweeted his location or something from what I read. And next thing I know, this brother got shot in front of everybody. He got shot in this restaurant. And I was talking to a young rapper about this. And I said, it was Jay Ortiz. I don't think he minds me saying his name. Jay Ortiz right now is on tour with a rapper named Kevin Gates. And I talked to Jay and I said, are you sure you want to go in this industry? I said, because, most people I know who are successful as rappers in certain genres are not happy people. They're not safe. Megan Thee Stallion achieved all the success a rapper could achieve, but she got shot in the foot by her man. Like, that is traumatic as shit. I know I'd be traumatized if my wife shot me in the foot and I gotta keep on going like nothing happened. Oh my God. Now, again, it's controversial, right? There are people debating whether or not he did it and all that. Well, I know he went to prison for it. And then you go into there's another rapper. She actually got discovered on my page. I'm not making this up. There's a rapper named, do y'all know Young M.A.? Young M.A. is out of New York. Young M.A. literally got discovered on my Facebook page. And she's and I'm not making this up. She actually said this in interviews. And I'm very happy for her because she's super talented. But I feel so bad for her because if you listen to her music and you see the headlines on this poor young lady, she's going through extreme problems when it comes to her mental and physical health. She, and the thing is, and the reason that I believe this is happening is because you've got a lot of undiagnosed, untreated trauma in the Black community. You also have a lack of guidance for these young people. When these record labels get a hold of them and they start paying them any amount of money to do any ridiculous thing that will embarrass their family and their community, there's nobody from our community who's in their ear saying, come on, man, you don't really need to do this to make money. Or no, you don't want to completely sell your soul. So in Hollywood, people go off to Hollywood and LA and they have these big dreams about making money. There's that word money again. I keep bringing it up because in case you're wondering why a finance professor talks about these things, and because they dangle a couple of dollars in front of you, they get you to do things that lead to lifelong regret. And this is offensive to me because I think that the impression that others have of Black people is these people will do anything for $1. And I'm gonna tell you like this: every community ain't like that. Their community, these people in this picture, I bet you anything that there are some things they will not do for money. They will not abandon Israel for money, for example. There are certain things they will not do for $1. So the question I want to ask you is, what do you have in your community that is not for sale? I think that's the question I leave you with today as we finish up this conversation. What do you have in your community that nobody can buy? Or is everything for sale? Are your daughters for sale? Is her body for sale? Is your dignity for sale? Like, what do you have in your community that is not for sale? And if you can't think of that, if you can't answer that question, then you're always going to be a slave to money, because money can either liberate you or it can turn you into a slave. And this is what you're dealing with. All right. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. This podcast is on Spotify. So if you want to listen on Spotify, just go to Spotify, look up Boyce Watkins. I do have several podcasts on Spotify. One's called the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. The other is called How to Make Money Without Working. And I'm also creating something called Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market, where I'm going to give daily assessments of what's happening in the stock market and stuff like that for those of you that are interested in pure investing topics. And as you know, I like to talk about culture. In my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, that I talk extensively about what a good economic culture looks like, how you specific steps on how you can establish that in your family, and ways that you can break generational curses financially. So if you'd like to take a look at that book, I can even autograph it and send it to you. One of my girls is going to actually mail it to you. So we do have a family business with my wife. You can just go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. Also, I want to remind everybody that October 25th through the 27th, we have the All Black National Convention that's going to be held in Lombard, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago. The All Black National Convention is the largest gathering on earth of intelligent Black people designed specifically for us to solve our problems as a community. So we welcome all families. We welcome all intelligent people from all walks of life. We welcome all the therapists and the teachers and the activists and the attorneys and the doctors and the professors and all the people that care about our community, that want to solve this problem, that are sick of this shit, that want to make us better. So if you want to join us in Chicago, or it's outside of Chicago, it's right outside Chicago. So Lombard's a really nice place. Feel free to go to all, and Chicago is too. I'm not saying Chicago's not, but you know, Chicago is a little bit mixed. I ain't gonna lie. Feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Okay, guys. So I'm going to get out of here, and God bless you. Thank you guys for listening. Also, tomorrow morning, we are going to get up at 10 a.m. Eastern. We do this every single morning, 7 days a week, because we're serious about this. We are not playing, and this is 100% free. And it's called Economic Awareness Training. If you'd like to be invited, just text the word morning, MORNING, to the number 87948, and I will invite you to our financial awareness training. Text morning to 87948, or if you live out of the country, you can go to drboyceelevate.com. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate y'all 100%, and I just love intelligent Black people, because y'all let us have the conversations that need to be had, and I appreciate y'all putting up with my outrageousness, because I know sometimes I might say things that may sound radical, but just know that my heart's in the right place, and I want to say it in a way that's going to make our lives better. So take care. I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.